corruption. And it doesn't sound like it's all that bad, and yet it ruins societies. So what you're doing is of extreme importance. Before I get to the the latest Biden issue with the computer, I want you to just develop for me for a moment when you said 65-35 corruption of left-wing politicians to corruption of right-wing politicians. What is the 35%? How does it manifest itself?
Well, I think the reason I would say that it seems to be more prevalent among the left is that the left seems to be much more comfortable staying in government longer. It's after all the aspiration a lot of them have. I mean, the pinnacle of success for them is to be in government service. Whereas people that are center-right oftentimes, feel like, well, I want to go into business or I want to do something in the private sector. So part of the reason I think there is this gap is because the longer that you stay in public office, in government, the more likely you are to engage in corrupt behavior. One of the people that I've talked to over the years is Bobby Jindal, who is the governor of Louisiana and congressman from Louisiana. Yeah, and Bobby told me, when he first got to Washington as a congressman, he said, everything was so dirty, the way things were done, and you noticed it. And after you stayed there for a while, it didn't seem quite so bad. And he sort of ended the conversation with a quip. He said, when you first get there, it's a cesspool, but you stay there for a while, and it starts to feel like a hot tub.
What a great point. So are you prepared to give me, is there a right-wing equivalent to Joe Biden in terms of corruption?
Well, I wrote a book called Secret Empires that came out in 2018 where we first talked about the Biden's relationship with China. And a Republican, it would not be an equivalent, but pretty darn close, would be Senator Mitch McConnell. His wife, Elaine Chao, who's the transportation secretary, her family enjoys enormous, let's say, commercial graces from the Chinese government. They own a shipping business. If the Chinese government decided tomorrow that they wanted to shut down that company, they could. And that is directly tied to the fact that he has political status. Now, it's a little different than the Bidens because in the case of the McConnell-Chao family, they actually have an underlying legitimate business. They had a shipping company, but there's no question that they have benefited from the good graces of Beijing and that Mitch McConnell's attitude towards China has been decidedly less hawkish than others. In the case of the Bidens, of course, there really is no underlying legitimate business. Hunter Biden became partners with the Chinese when his dad became vice president, and he brings nothing to the table. But to me, that is an equivalence. You don't want to be doing commercial deals with a foreign government, particularly if that foreign government is our rival, because they have you over the barrel, and they are going to lead you, I believe, to soften your critique of that government.
What did we learn? What did you learn? That's a better question. What did you learn with regard to the prosecutor that Biden bragged on camera having fired as a result of the revelations from the computer, or did you learn nothing?
No, there were some very interesting emails the New York Post has reported on. I should say that I know as much as everybody else does. I don't have access to those emails. But what they have brought out dovetails completely with what we knew. So it has built to the foundation of what we had reported earlier. The new emails demonstrate a couple of things. One, that apparently Burisma executives got a private meeting with Joe Biden while he was vice president of the United States.
Yeah, that's huge. All right, hold on there. Hold on. That because that means that Joe Biden lied repeatedly to the American people on a very big matter. The book of Peter Schweizer is Profiles in Corruption.